So industry analyst Michael Pachter of Wedbush Securities is at it again, talking about the future of Switch here this year. And he talked about something that I think some people actually want, but I don't think is feasible, at least not in the way he's describing it. So in speaking to Gaming Bolt, Pachter talked about how he expects the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One to get price cuts, but he actually thinks Nintendo will have a price cut because they're going to release a new version of the Switch. Here's the way he describes that version. So I think we'll probably get a price cut on all of them, and Nintendo may position it as a reinvented Switch. My guess is that Nintendo will take the Switch and get rid of the Switch part. So it'll be handheld only. They'll probably just make the Joy-Cons part of the integrated body of the tablet and probably drop the price. Get rid of the docking station and the external power supply. Just turn the thing into a handheld that's rechargeable with a power cord, like a normal handheld, and charge $200 for it. So they do that. Sony can probably cut the price. Microsoft will cut the price. You'll probably get a $200 Xbox and a $250 PlayStation and a $200 Switch that's handheld only, and that'll probably be enough to drive unit demand to keep constant year-over-year sales. So it's interesting in talking about this because he's not the first one to float this idea out there. Essentially, what he's talking about is the Switch Mini. The Switch Mini is an idea of essentially taking the Switch and making it handheld only, a little bit smaller, and then having, non-detachable controllers. And there are probably some of you out there listening to this video right now that want that to be the case. However, I have argued against such a concept for a long time because to release a version of the Switch that doesn't actually switch would be disingenuous to the actual product line. This would be essentially like releasing a version of the Wii that doesn't have the Wiimote. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? And they never did that. They did release a version of the Wii that cut out Wi-Fi for some reason. I think the Wii Mini was kind of sort of a mistake in that regard. They could have left the Wi-Fi card in and it would have been a much more viable platform. But whatever. The point is that cutting out features of the Switch to make it more cost effective in a new version isn't unheard of. But cutting out the de facto feature and then also removing a secondary feature, which would make games like Mario Party completely unplayable on the platform, I think is not a direction Nintendo would go. What I do think they might do this year is release a version of the Switch that is $200. But that version of the Switch is basically what the Switch is now without the dock. Remember, they charge MSRP anyways of $90 or $89.99 for a Nintendo Switch dock. So if they cut the price overall on the system down to $250, which I think the base model with the dock will be $250 this holiday. They do that, and then they release a version of it that doesn't have a dock. So a dockless Switch, but still has the ability to switch because maybe you already have a dock in your house, so you're going to do it that way. Maybe you want to use a cheaper third-party dock. I know, not recommended. Or the ability to purchase a dock separately down the road if you so choose. The ability to switch would still be there, but it would be cheaper because you don't have the dock. The price cut's already down to $250. Remove the dock. Now you have a $200 version, and then Nintendo releases the new Switch Pro or whatever at $299.99. Obviously has the dock and the new souped-up Switch or whatever they decide to change about it. That, to me, is what I think Nintendo is going to do this year. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. They might not release a new Switch at all, and they still just cut the price of Switch to $250 and then release the $200 without the dock model. Or Nintendo might just be fully committed to the fact that, hey, we can't release a Switch without the dock because then it's not a Switch. So that's another thing to consider as well. Now, they do sell a dockless Switch in Japan that you can buy from Nintendo's website. So that's why I think selling a dockless Switch, I think, is the better solution to get to that $199 price than it is necessarily releasing a new model of the Switch that is slightly smaller that gets rid of think about what it gets rid of. It's not just getting rid of the Switch ability by not having it be able to be docked. It's also getting rid of the ability to have motion controls. Traditional motion controls, where you have one controller in each hand. It's getting rid of the ability to use the IR camera. It's getting rid of the ability, well, maybe not for HD Rumble, but for certain other functionalities of those controllers. It like using them with Nintendo Labo as an example. It is making it so the Switch loses all of its unique ability and is basically a PlayStation Vita 2. And while a PlayStation Vita 2 isn't the worst thing in the world, and I still think there's a lot of people that only play their Switch in handheld with the Joy-Cons attached, hence there is a market for such a system, I think releasing a system that has the inability to play every single game on that system would be a mistake. Would be a mistake that many consumers would be confused about, as there isn't like packaging out there that tells you, like with the new Nintendo 3DS, there were new Nintendo 3DS only games, and it said that kind of sort of on the packaging, but it wasn't that clear. The packaging wasn't very clear, but imagine how confusing it would be now if Super Mario Party that runs on every single Switch now doesn't run on Switch Mini. I don't think that this is something that Nintendo is even going to consider. Again, Michael Pachter is who he is. He's wrong on a lot of stuff when it comes to Nintendo. A lot of people are wrong on a lot of stuff when it comes to Nintendo. So he's not alone. But I do think it's an interesting prospect, and I do think he is correct. There will be a $199 Switch this holiday. I just disagree with how we're going to get to that $199 product. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the Switch Mini, the chances of price cuts this year. Do you think a Pro is coming? Do you think the $199 is going to be what I think it is, or do you think it's going to be what Michael Pachter thinks it is? Let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to enter our Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Ultimate giveaway. It's a bundle down in the description through the Gleam.io link. I thank all of you for tuning in. I love your faces, and I'll see you in the next one.